I got you coming in. Go ahead.
Go ahead, what?
Tell your story.
Well, we attacked at a German hospital because the Germans were holding it, and we chased them out. And I had the machine gun, and the guys followed me with the ammunition. And I wanted to go clear across that hospital and get over in the street beyond and set the machine gun up because he's decided to come back. Somebody has to try to stop him. And I looked down through that hallway in that hospital. There were 3 dead Germans laying down there. And when I got ready to go, I grabbed the gun and I said, come on, let's go. And I started running with the machine gun on my back and all. And when I got down there, one of them dead ones stood up.
Uh-oh.
And if you think that won't make you pee your pants, but he stood up. He stood up, and I jumped over, but I could just feel a bullet hit me in the back because I didn't know what to do there. But when I got down to the street, I looked back, and he was still trying to get out. That German was. I'm glad he didn't make it. But we set the gun up there, and so I could shoot both ways. Is that all you want?
No.
You got more?
I made some money over there.
Uh-oh.
That's a
Okay.
good one. You know, venereal disease was terrible. And when the Germans would take a town, they'd take the young women with them and keep them there. And we stopped them, after the war was over, we stopped all the women coming back home down over the mountain and made them stay there until they come with a Jeep and a trailer. And they'd take them right to the hospital. They wouldn't let them come in if they hadn't been to the hospital. And we had those kids, what do they call them little, you wasn't there, were you? Well, venereal, they'd use them before they'd have sex. And they'd set a big box out there. And every time I seen a bunch of them, I'd grab a handful of them. And when I saw the Russians, I sold them to them for $2 a piece. And when I got the check, money, I said to Selma, no, I never did tell her nothing about that. You know, because you know how these women are.
Yeah.
Get that list, because there's a lot more to talk about. Okay, there's more.
Come on.
We want some more stories.
Well, here's this. The Germans would not take prisoners. If you surrendered, they killed you. They shot you. They couldn't feed you. No, what did it say? Oh, if we'd go like we go through this, take this town here, then we'd have to go through every house and make sure there's no Germans left in it. Upstairs, but when you go in, you go to the basement door, or come and see here, I mean, you come here, come and see here. And usually there'd be an elderly lady with 2 or 3 little kids. They're starving to death. And if she come over and you say, there's German soldiers in there, in German, you know, we talk to her. And then she said, $9, Vic means they're gone. And I went into this one house, went over, and what they had done, they'd built a stairway off the side of the house down into an air raid shelter. And I hollered down there, come and see here. And I stood there and looked for a while, and nobody come out there to see what I wanted. I thought there ain't nobody down there. And I started walking away, and out of the corner of my eye, I seen a man's head come out of that door. And his head went back in, and when I turned, you know, he went downstairs. And I went over and kicked the door open, stood back, because I figured they'd start firing. And I looked down there, and there was 3 German rifles down there at the bottom of that step. I'm by myself. The guy who was with me is upstairs looting, see what he could find. And I thought, I had a hand grenade on each shoulder, and I carried one in my pocket. But I kept looking, and I said, no, I can't throw that down there and expect it to bounce to the left. If I don't, it won't do no good. This was a foolish move, but I thought about it. I thought, I'm going halfway down, and I can throw that hand grenade back to the open door. When I started down, I thought, you fool, I said to myself, if they are down there, there's 3 guns to my 1. Well, I'd already started down, so I had 15 rounds in my rifle. And I thought, if anything comes out of that door, I'm going to shoot it. Well, I had no more said that. Here come an old man out with his hands sky high up. Well, I didn't pay much attention to him. I was afraid somebody would follow him out. And I said, there's German soldiers in there, in German, you know. He said, no, they're gone. Well, in the war, you don't believe anything anybody says, and only about half what you see. You can't take no chances. So I went down and I stuck that gun in his back and pushed him through that door. I thought if they get me, they got to shoot through him.
Right.
You know, that's not a very good thought, but that's what it was. And I pushed him through there, and sitting right there by the door was an old man, starving to death. He couldn't even get up. And in the bed, there was an old lady laying on her back. I could tell she was dying. And I'm standing right up, right behind her, and I got the gun pointed right at her. I didn't mean to, but, you know, I ain't taking no chances. And that old lady, Hitler had told them people that the American soldiers are coming, they're going to kill you and take your homes. Fight it out with. So he wanted them to fight with it. And I know she thought I was going to kill her. That old man did too. She was laying on her back, and I stand there, foot of bed looking at her, and she rolled over on her side. She put her hand in her head. She lay there and looked at me, and there's tears rolling down there. I had tears too. I ain't kidding you. And I thought, my God, what am I doing in this place? And I grabbed what I had, and I went back upstairs and I let them live. But they were probably happy that, because all I had to do was kill them. That's not right, you know, to kill people.
Was that your orders, though, to kill them?
Huh?
Were your orders to kill who you found?
We weren't, but the Germans were.
The Germans were, but that
Yeah.
wasn't your orders.
Oh, no. We could find something to eat, off and on. But they didn't have anything. In one place, we went in a farmhouse, and I took my .45. I killed 14 chickens, shot their heads off. We thought we was going to get something to eat out of it. About the time the lady was started to, she had 3 or 4 little kids, and I told her, she told me, she said, these are Nazis, the chickens. She wouldn't handle them. And I told her, I said, they're not Nazis, they're mine. You fix them for the kinders, children, for yourself, and fix that stuff. And don't you know, 15 minutes later, they pulled up and said, come on, let's go. We had to walk the lead of 14 chickens. Oh, dear, it's terrible. It was, you think about that crazy stuff. And I come up on now they like this. I don't like it, but they do. So we was going through the woods, running the Germans out. And I come up on a German in a hole about 5 barrel outside that window. And when he seen me, he turned his back to me to get out of the hole. Well, I could have killed him, shot him in the back, killed him, you know. But he couldn't have been 13 years old. And I thought, I'm going to chase him down, knock that rifle out of his hand, kick him in the butt and tell him to go home to his mother. But when he started running, I started running after him. I can't catch him. He's outrunning me. And some old lady comes to the door and beat it means please, please, please. Nick, don't shoot that boy. It was her grandson or son, I don't know, I didn't say, but I let it go. And I told the woman, I said, he's got a Gewehr, a rifle. And you can't trust anybody, well, you know what the rifle said. And he run in a barn. Well, I wasn't going in that barn by myself, because there may be 4 or 5 more Germans in there. Yeah. I ain't got a chance. And what I would have done, if she hadn't got him out, I'd set it on fire. Burn him out, or burn him up, yeah. So I went on. kept going. Yeah. Oh, dear.
What year did you start in the military?
Huh?
What year did you start in the military? What year was it?
In 44.
In 44.
Yeah, I had a wife and 3 kids when they got me in. Yeah. I didn't like that. But then they didn't go by it.
So did you, it's not a draft, you volunteered. You volunteered.
I didn't volunteer.
They drafted. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you were drafted in 44.
I never did draft or volunteer for anything.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you there.
Tell about coming home and Mom didn't know what you had done over there. After you come home.
Oh, well, when I come home, I never told anybody what I did. And Thelma asked me, said, Harold, what do you do over there? I said, Thelma, you know, how dumb are you? She said, well, the only thing she knew was she heard on the radio. So a guy stopped at the house. He had a first name badge on. And we sat there and talked about the war, and she heard it. And she said, well, Harold, after he left, is that what you did? I said, every bit of it. That's the way we went all the time. And it's a good thing she didn't know, because she wouldn't worry. Yeah. And I never knew she was going to have a baby till after the war was over. I told her, this is a little bit ornery.
Yeah.
I told her something, I said, you know, I was here in December. I was there 1 week in December. And I started saying this, January, February, I never got to March, boy, she was right on top of me. But when she did find it out, I'm glad she didn't know it, because I'm glad I didn't know she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Because I might have done things that I didn't do.
Right.
And I went the wrong way. I went the wrong way. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. We had a guy, and I didn't know that a man could be as dumb as this guy was. He got a letter from his wife from home. and we was waiting to move up tack, and he jumped up and he hollered, "Hey, I'm a father. My wife had a baby." Well, one of the guys with him said, "Haven't you been over here a year?" He said, "Yeah, so what?" He said, "There's 2 years between me, between me and my brother." And we all looked at each other and thought, well, how dumb can a person be? Well, it's true, it's what happened. Well,
Okay, so where did you march through? What countries did you march in?
Germany and Czechoslovakia. Started out in what? You know what, how we got overseas? We was down in the back of a ship, Louis Pasteur. Nothing there. No beds, no table, no nothing. We slept on the floor with our clothes on, never took our clothes off. And our breakfast was oatmeal, piece of toast, and a cup of coffee. We didn't get any dinner for dinner. And the supper time would be them little sausages that they had, and potatoes, a piece of bread, and coffee. 10 days we was on that thing. And we got into Liverpool, England, and got off of that. We got right on the train, went across England, and got on another ship, crossed the English Channel. And to get off of that ship, those LSTs would come up to the side of the ship, and the waves would pick them up and bring them up. And you'd stand there on the side of that ship, and when that come up there, you jump, throw your bag over and jumped over, and get out of the way because somebody's coming down on top of you if you don't get out of the way. Went into France, and we walked almost all the way across France. And I come onto a great big tent. It was food. It was what would you call it? Like a restaurant. And well, when I seen that chickens, we hadn't had anything to eat. And I loaded up my musket with everything I could find. And while I was doing that, this truck pulled up behind me. And when I turned around with my food, what do you think I saw? Truckloads of dead American soldiers going to the graveyard. I thought, my God, is this going to happen to me too? You know, it is a thing. But I took my stuff and went over and hid and eat because I was hungry. I was hungry.
Yeah.
And we didn't get anything to eat hardly. And they didn't have anything. Now, I didn't know this, but I know it's true now, but I went across, almost halfway across Europe, and I never saw a dog, but or a cat, any animal. I didn't see it. And I never thought nothing of it, you know. And we found out at the end of the war that the Germans had killed all the dogs and cats and eat them. Well, if we find some laying on the table, we go in the house, we take it and eat it. If it was a dog or a cat, it was sure good eating them. Because when you're hungry, you eat anything. No, I don't know. What?
You got more.
What
about your friend that got hit?
Oh, this was terrible. Still terrible to me. I don't know whether you've heard of the Bridge of Remagen. They made a movie of it. That's where we crossed. And I was mad at the United States Army. We had taken Bonn, Germany, beautiful city right on the Rhine River, I had a gun out on the veranda, a machine gun, and there was a bed, it was a bedroom, and I'd run the clothes and all, and I'd jump up the big house, I'd have a big time. And I seen a bathtub, the big kind, you know, when they first started putting the bath in. And I thought, wonder if that thing works. And I walked over there and opened that valve, cold water come out. I took off all my clothes, got me a tub full of water, and boy, I sat there and played a little while. But there was no towel, no wash rag, no soap, no nothing. And when I got done playing, I put them dirty clothes on. Well, I had to do it, that's all it was. Yeah. But that was a beautiful city, and that castle, you wouldn't believe it if you hadn't, I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it. But that, you know, the first division was a good fighting division. It was, not because I was there, that didn't make it any better, me being there. But they brought the 8th Division up, and they took our positions, the gun places. We got on tanks and went down across that river at the bridge at Ramada. And all the Germans there was waiting for us, I know. But what was it you wanted?
Your friend that got hit in the butt.
We run the Germans off of
Yes.
a hill down in the valley. They were down in the valley, and of course there's a hill on each side of the valley. And this guy's name was Henry, and he was a nice person. I mean, he wasn't no smart aleck or, you know, all that. And I set the gun up so I could cover the road out in front of me, and then one went across the hill. There was road up there. And I was down in the hole. It was in a German ack position. It was a good place to be. And there was a slit trench right behind me. And he got down that slit trench. We shot by daytime and night because night and day didn't mean anything to us. We just go, go, go. And I sat there and I seen 2 German ambulances coming across that road. And I thought, what, there's no sense in me shooting, but I don't know what's in there, you know. Shoot them, I might be doing the wrong thing. He went up there and he got on the road, come right down in front of me, turned and went back in the woods. In about 20 minutes, here come them 2 German ambulances out with a great big German tank. What they did, they took fuel into it.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't do nothing with the tank. The machine gun wouldn't penetrate them tanks. They shot them 2 ambulances. I think everybody in was killed. And the way we went. Well, but when the tank come out, about as far as Muir to the next street up, our tanks were sitting in the woods. And them dirty dogs tried to shoot down in that valley, and a tank fires like a rifle does, direct fire, you know. And 2 of them fired, and both of them shells come right in behind us. But before that, he come up out of that slit trench, he wanted to see that German tank, and he crawled right up over my back. He was laying all over me, my head and all. And when he got up that far over me, 2 shells hit right behind us and blowed him up in the air to the right, blowed me up in the air to the left about 6 or 8 feet. And when I came down, all them rocks and all that stuff come down on top of it. I called a CP, and man, I called them dirty names I didn't even want to call them. I was scared to death, you know. And I looked over there, and there he laid on his stomach. And he wasn't big, but he was short and sort of heavy. And somebody ran over and jumped in the hole with me, and we picked him up. He was still yet alive. And I could see he was all shot up. The shrapnel hit him on his left shoulder, split his shoulder blade, tore his arm out of his back, went on across his back, and hit over here on this other one, did the same thing, split that shoulder blade, and tore that arm out of his back. And when he was standing there, I got to thinking, you've seen pictures of them big apes in Africa, how they stand their arms, that's just what he looked like. His hands was clear down behind, but to his knees. And we got him started, but he didn't make it. I don't think he lived 5 minutes. I could look down, I looked down through here where they tore his arm out. I could see down inside of his chest, but it was full of blood. It was just nothing but blood. And he started, but he didn't make it. I don't think he got 50 feet away and he fell. And some officer come over and asked me what happened. That officer knew I was mad. And there ain't no sense in that. See, what we would have done, if we wanted to shoot as they come out, we'd shoot over on the road and see where the bolts was hitting. And we'll leave a set right there, and when they got there, we'd start shooting them. But you can't make a rifle or a bullet, a shell. You can if you have the right material up and down, but a tank fires right through. And I mean, both of them hit about the same time. I told that officer,
What they call friendly fire. Americans
I'm going to
did.
call that woman, that guy's mother and parents and tell him what happened. That he was killed by his own gun.
Yeah, friendly fire.
And after we started moving up to attack the Germans, I thought that woman was going to get a letter today or tomorrow in a few days telling her son was killed in an accident. And he's dead. And she's going to have nothing. If I'd tell her killed by her own guns,
Yeah.
it'd make it 10 times worse. I wouldn't do it. We just kept going and going. When we got to Berlin, we got up within, I'd say 8 or 10 miles. 8 or 10 miles don't mean much in the war. They can shoot shells 150, 200 up. And we was figuring on having to attack. Now, in Berlin, all the German armies were there. All of them was there. They had a big army in there. And they come and told us, they said, we're not going to attack Berlin. The Germans, the Russians want to take it. And I've told other people, that when they ask about the Russian taking Berlin, they'd say, we should have took it. I said, what do you mean we did? Are you married, are you, fella? You wasn't there, was you? What would you have done if you felt pretty good about it? We thought maybe the war was over for us. We turned east and went halfway across Czechoslovakia before, and we had a little Italian guy. He wasn't big enough to carry a gun, and I don't know why they took him. And he came out and said, we're supposed to move up at 6 o'clock the next morning. And he came out about midnight, and he said the war was over. And we grabbed him and pulled him down in the hole with us, because they was firing right beside us, machine guns firing rifles, and got him, keep him from getting shot. And then he come out that morning and said, the war's over, really over. And I picked up the machine gun and went back in that town, and there was they call them guest house, but the beer joint. I went in there, laid down on the floor and went to sleep. I was so tired and wore out and disgusted, you know. And what did I hear after I got to sleep? Them hobnail shoes on them cobblestone street. I grabbed my rifle and loaded the door open and hear about 50 or 60 Germans march by. They surrendered. They gave up. We didn't have no trouble with it. But, and you know what they use for bait to fish with? One piece of corn. It was one hill, you know, one piece, and they put it on a hook. And these were elderly women, oh, you know, the elderly women. And I told them, I made them understand to go back in the woods and get behind a tree and hide. Because I said, I'm going to use this hand grenade. I'm going to get us some fish. But they, when I said hand grenade, they all started shivering. They hated it, the Germans did. But I did get them out of the way, and I threw the hand grenade in the water. I got behind a tree, but it didn't, it was too deep. But it exploded and the water roared up and all. And then I looked, and that thing was covered with fish about that big. And I hollered, Sarik, come back, come back, come back. And they come back and picked them all up. They got them. I was a good fisherman. And there was a coyote, not a coyote, what's the big rabbit?
Jackrabbit?
Jackrabbit. I went over there, I like to go over and walk through the woods after the war. And boy, there was a jackrabbit come out right in front of me. Now I got a rifle. With a shotgun, I can do pretty good. But as soon as it went out, them women asked us to shoot birds or shoot anything so they could have something to eat. And when it went out, I thought, well, I'm going to try it. And it was running in the weeds and out, and I shot one time and killed it. And them women down there heard that gun go off, and boy, they come screaming. Boy, what'd you kill? What'd you kill? And I showed them one woman. I said, I pointed it there. I don't. A Fayette, I think, is a horse. I don't know what a rabbit was. But I pointed it out to her, and I said, it's yours. I tried, because down in Czechoslovakia, they had a German dialect that was fast. They talked real fast, real fast. I couldn't understand it. But she picked that up by the hind leg, and she was just an ordinary sized woman, and his ears was dragging in the dirt. And they took that, and I can bet you one thing, they ate the ears and everything. I've seen them German women come out there with that big knife and skin a horse at the bit, you know. And they take everything. They take the entrails. They don't leave anything. And after they get down, all they got is the bones frame with the head and the tail sticking out back of it. And that's what they ate. And we eat it too. Yeah.
I want you to tell about the man that cried for his mother.
Oh, that was a crow. He slept, in training, he slept in his bed here and I was next to him. And when we took this town, I went with the B company and he went with another company. You had 4 companies in a kind of, and I had to cross the creek. I had to wade that thing in January or February. It was cold. But I got over on the other side, and what do you know, here come them guys pushing through us to attack the next town, see? That's what we do, flop, just keep flopping. As long as you got something to go, enough men to go fight. And I heard the shells coming in over there, well, right in front of us. The only bad thing about it was I helped him across the creek after dark at night. And the next morning when the lights come on, when the sun come out, about 25 or 30 feet from me was a footbridge. It wasn't funny now, it wasn't funny, but it was. I stood all night in their wet clothes, and they dried on me. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And they told me the crew got hit. Well, if they tell you that, they go to the hospital. And he came back after the war was over. He told me that what we do, we dig a hole about like a grave, down about 3.5 foot. And then we cover half of it with a door off of a house or brush or whatever we could. And we'd cover it, and when they start shelling us close, and shrapnel coming in everywhere, we'd crawl back in that. There'd be 2 of us in that hole, and we'd get back in there the best we could. The crow crawled back in, and then left his hind end sticking out. And he told me that he put 3 fingers down in that gash back there where that piece of shrapnel went through. And he put his hand out and seen that blood, and he cried for his mother. Hey, don't laugh. You're scared to death all the time.
Yeah.
But it is funny that to think of a grown man, and he didn't come back till after the war was over.
Well, you go to your mother when you're bleeding, right?
Huh?
I said you go to your mother when you're bleeding when you're little, so you cry for your mother.
That's true, too. Well, some of these guys were mommy's little boys. I seen one, he wasn't in from here in that window. Took a 45, put it right there behind that bone, and blowed a hole clear through his leg. He didn't come back till after the war was over. Now you say he's yellow. Could you do it?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't hurt myself, shoot myself. But he couldn't go any further. And that's the only way he could get out, the wound and stuff. So, you done enough?
Paula's got something down here called the D bar. What's that?
What?
I don't know. She just wrote the D bar. You know anything about that? You must have been telling a story about it because she wrote it down.
C-bar?
D, like in dad. D bar. Don't know?
I don't know. See what she was thinking of.
What about that lady that cooked for you?
Huh?
What about the lady that cooked for you? Do you remember a story about that?
She cooked for us.
There was a lady that cooked you a meal.
Cooked all of you,
I'll tell you nothing about eating. All we got to eat up there was beef stew, cold. And when you take the lid off, there's grease. And then there's, I don't know what that shaky stuff was over there, but we'd flip that stuff off, and we'd eat that cold. And I'll tell you, it'd gag a maggot, but we had to eat it.
Yeah.
And I had a can of it, and the Germans was across the valley. They was firing at us all the time with their tank. And this woman had 3 kids down there. And I seen something else there too. And when I went down in the basement, I opened that up, and I got one bite, and when I looked up, Here stand that kid right between my legs. His eyes on my eyes, and brother, he never moved. He outstared me, and I looked down there and saw him, and I thought, well, I've got a son back there, Bill, about the same size as him. I gave it to him, and he took it to his mother. And when I thought to get some of that, but before she got it fixed, the Jeep showed up and took me away.
No.
I didn't give any.
Another
But the
sheep.
one, about the same place, I see a shed. And I thought, I could go look in that shed and make sure there ain't no Germans over there. And I opened that door with a cow, just to hold a cow. That's all about a cowboy. And when I opened that door, there lay a beautiful woman. I mean, she was beautiful, laying on her back. And her clothes had been cut open down to her waist and laid open. Her breasts were showing, but right above each breast was a bullet hole. She'd been hit twice with stray bullets, I don't know. Man, I slammed that door. I got tired of seeing, dead people.
Okay, so you marched through Europe.
Huh?
You marched through Europe. You went through Europe. Where else did you go? Czechoslovakia. How long were you in?
5 months in combat. And that's like 50 years.
Yeah, I
Like,
bet.
It's terrible.
It's a long time.
There's a lot more, but, little things.
He's told all I got on this paper here. I don't know.
What?
I said, you've told all about what Paula had written down.
Oh, yeah. I seldom, I try to forget it, but I can't. The other night, in my sleep, there was an explosion. And I got right out of bed. I don't know, I was dreaming, I suppose. And as soon as I got the lights on in there, and that light, and I saw where I was, I sat back down. I scared to death. And then I looked in every room in the house, and Judy didn't move, so we get up, and I knew then it was, I was dreaming.
All here, yeah.
Well, and I've been laying there and hearing my name called. Sleep,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the worst thing that can happen to you. If you get straight by a German airplane with 3 50 caliber machine guns on their wings, coming right down over you about 200 mile an hour of fire. Oh man, that's terrible to have to. And what's wrong with it is, them dirty dogs who go out there and turn that thing around and come back down until it comes back.
Yeah, I suppose they would.
Well, they killed a lot of good-looking men over there, young men,
Kids.
What, Dad, what about the mannequin, the lady mannequin? Remember you told us the other night?
We never really, we never laughed or joked or anything. We couldn't find anything
Funny.
that make you happy, But we went into town and there was this woman, a mannequin, standing out there, no clothes on. Her panties just over her arm, and there was a sign that said, Kilroy was here. And every one of them seen it started laughing. I think that's the first time we ever laughed.
That's good.
Well, I don't know. What else is there?
Oh, I don't.
Well, I know I want to take the rifle and the German Luger and all that kind of stuff. So we just stop it now.
Well,
What day did he come home from the
Yeah, what day did you come home from the service? What happened when you got to Ohio?
oh, I couldn't tell them. I didn't know when I was gonna get home.
Right.
And I got into Columbus from Virginia.
Wait, so where were you when the war ended?
In Czechoslovakia.
And how did you get to the States?
Walked most of the time.
They didn't come pick you up, did they?
Oh, no, well, the railroads were all tore out.
Right.
Bridges all blew out.
We had to tell about coming over on the ship, coming home on that ship.
What did we do?
It was supposed to take 6 days, and it was 10.
We was in Marseille, France. And the USS Mariposa, the biggest ship the United States had. And that captain told us, he said, you guys will be in New York City in 6 days. We headed out of the Mediterranean Sea and hit that North Atlantic. And that big ship would tip so far that the screws come out the back. And you could hear them hitting the water, you know, trying to move. All the way, that wasn't funny.
No.
All the way across, 10 days. It took 4 extra. See what they have to do on a ship, they have to head right into the storm. They can't turn sideways to it. It'll turn them over,
Capsizing.
you know.
Yeah.
Wasn't a very nice ride.
No.
But you didn't land in New York City.
Huh?
You didn't land in New York City.
Oh, no, never did get back to New York. We left out of New York. I seen the, what you call the Eiffel Tower.
The Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty?
Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, but
I seen it.
because of that storm, they wasn't able to go to New York
We
City.
couldn't get there. No,
You had to land at
we was
Virginia.
only about halfway up to the United States coast when we went in. But when I left, I saw that. I wonder if I'm going to get to see this again.
Yeah.
But you know, you just don't know.
No.
They give me a replacement, and he had been wounded. And when they gave him to me,
Please, drink of water.
we started to move up, and they started shelling. And that guy would get down on his knees and pray. I guess he's praying, I didn't know. And I'd have to grab him to get him to keep up with us, you know. Because if he don't stay with us, he's gonna get killed for sure. And that night we got, they got shelled real bad going into that town. And we got down in the ditch and all laid down and went to sleep. But the next morning when we were starting to move up, he wasn't there. And I sort of figured that he got hit the night before. And then I found out later, a couple of weeks later, the MPs picked him up back in the rear, going around trying to get something to eat. And when they seen he had a rifle and all, you don't carry a rifle and everything in the rear, you know, behind the line. They arrested him. I never did know what happened to him, but I know he didn't have an ounce of brains. He was just like a little newborn person, I suppose.
Here's
Wow.
J.C.
So you landed in Virginia. Did they feed you and everything there? Did they keep you a while? They kept my dad
They
somewhere
kept
for a
me
while.
for a week or more.
Yeah. Fed you?
This officer looked at my teeth. He said that we'll keep you in the Army 2 months, And when you come back, we'll fix your teeth. And I said, mister, when I get home, I ain't coming back. I won't come back. He
Right.
said, well, I'll mark on here your teeth are okay. I said, I don't care what you do, but I ain't
I'm not coming back.
I ain't coming back.
Got another one.
What?
When you got hit in the face. With that.
Oh, this was a German Panzerfaust. And that thing, they knocked out tanks with it. In fact, if you'd hit that house over there, you'd knock half the front off of it. It was a terrible thing. And I wanted to see, we was moving up to a tank, and I've seen a German half-track, half cats and half tars. And I fired it. And this about fired me at that house over there. And when it exploded, I turned like this. It's a good thing I did. Because a bazooka, you don't know about a bazooka, but bazooka, when you fire a bazooka at a tank, nobody can be behind that gun. It'll burn you up. It kicks both ways. That thing kicked wire in my face, and I had blood running down my neck into my underwear, and I didn't know it. I didn't know it. And someone told me, said, Daniel, you're bleeding. And I went to the medics, but what we should have done, I should have went and had shaved me and picked that wire out. Because for a year or more after that, I picked it out. Every time I'd shave, I'd get a bump, and I'd sit and keep scratching on it until I got something out of it.
Mm.
But I didn't think about it, you know, it would happen that way. Well, that was an awful one. And that's what they're using now down there. Those rockets that are fired, same thing as the Panzerfaust.
When they asked you if you wanted a Purple Heart,
Huh?
they asked you if you wanted a Purple
Well, they
Heart,
asked
the
me if I- I
medics
said,
did.
Just for this little bit, you know, I didn't know that it was that important. Till now. But if I hadn't have turned my face like I did, it would have hit me in the eyes.
Yeah, you
It
would
would have hit me all down the face.
I was asking you though, when you made it to Columbus, and the taxi cab driver stopped for you.
That night, I got off that train right in the depot in Columbus. It was in the middle of the night, and that's when we still had streetcars. And that night they would run about every half hour. And I thought, well, I'm going to go up there and take a chance. Maybe a streetcar will come along and I can go down to Hosek and High, as far as it went. Then I'd have to walk on down to High Street. And what was I supposed to do? Oh, this, I was standing there in that, you get on the bus, the streetcar, and this yellow cab drove up. And he said, come on and get in. I said, man, I ain't got no money to go down. He said, you don't need no money. He said, I'm paying this. So he took me from the depot clear down to Hosek and High. And it was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when I pounded on the door and got them all out. I didn't really ever get home. I really didn't. I cannot understand how you can go through all of that and live. 4 times that I know of, we kept track of, I had 4 guys behind me carrying, one carried the base plate to set the gun on the fire, and the other 3 carried 500 rounds of ammunition. 4 times that I know of, when we drove the Germans out, you go, they get you so they can see how many men they had left. And 4 times they came and to the second squad, and I was the only one there. 4 times there was 4, at least 16 men that was either killed or wounded. I never did know what happened to them. But they dragged 4 or 5 more out and put them with me. Death didn't mean nothing over there to them.
What about when they asked you to be a squad leader?
Well, I told them, didn't do me any good. Well, we took this town, I'm laying in a potato bin down in the basement. I was so tired, I couldn't hardly walk. And this tank commander, captain, come in, he said, you Daniel? Yeah. He said, you're squad leader, second squad. I said, no, not me, I don't want it. I'm only going to worry about one thing, get on number 1 home, that's me. I wasn't going to worry, but he just turned around and walked away. And I never did. If I would have accepted it, then I would have been a non-com. And they use them non-coms like they, you know, them officers don't do nothing, the non-coms and has to do all the dirty work. We had I was saying about them women coming back and they're getting them. We had Russians. Well, that's what I saw them, those, what do they call them? I can't remember. Pro-kits. Pro-kits is what they call them. And I kept them for the Russians. But when they come down, we'd sell them things. Anything, because they didn't have nothing. They were mighty for themselves. But we had one come down one day and he said, the Germans killed my family. They killed up, they tore our farm up. He said, I ain't got nothing back in Russia. Now we're talking in German, each other. Russian talking to an American in German. He said, if I would come over here tonight, would you let me go down into Germany? He said, I'm going to live here in Germany. I'll find me a job and stay here. And we told him, okay, but we wasn't going to take a gun or anything. But you can get a gun anywhere you want, anything you wanted, laying in, you know. And he went down the next morning, here come a big Russian officer, and he was going to go down. And I said, whoa, no. You don't have no permit, you don't have no way to get down there. Oh, you know, it should be there. And I said, see that machine gun? You ain't going. He backed off. And then one of our officers came up and said, you mistreated him, you didn't treat him. I did that to one of our officers. Right up in Berlin. There's about 20 of us come up on these Germans. They said 8,000, but the guys that picked them up said it was 10,000. There was 8 or 10,000 in there. There's about 20 of us walking, and I'm walking down the road, and I ain't supposed to do that. I'm supposed to be down in trying to find. But I can't carry that gun and go through all that stuff. And when I got up, I seen a house on the right, and then I looked on the left, and there was a big apple orchard on the side of the hill, and it was full of German soldiers. Now, there's no sense in me starting that machine gun because we ain't got a chance. Well, we stood there and looked at them. I stood right there in the middle of the road and looked at them. And all of a sudden, one of them officers took his guns off, stood him down, put his hands behind his head, came down, and all of them came down.
Good.
But when the general, they call them field marshals, he come down, I shook him down, boy. And I mean, I shook him down good. But they expect you to salute them, the German officers, no. And I didn't do anything but search his clothes and everything. And when they took him back to the PW, they thought, you know, because he's a general, German general, he's a big shot. He told him I mistreated him. And when that officer come over to me, he said, well, they tell me that you mistreated him. And I got right in his face. I said, what do you think he would have done to me if he had captured me? He'd have killed me. And I was mad. And the American officer back up. I was hoping he'd have me court-martialed, send me home with a dishonorable discharge. I don't care how to go. Yeah. Well, you'd do anything to get out of it. I told somebody that, you know, on the mess kit, on the top of it, that handle goes down and latches. I told Tom Collins that I turned it in. I wanted to be a mess kit repairman underground.
Oh.
I wanted to bend that handle down. That's what it did. Gee, I didn't get it. Because they don't have it anyhow.
Here it says 17 went in May and only 17 of you went in May and only 3 of you.
Only 3 of us was alive that in May, from December to May. Some of them was killed, I know, but some of them wounded. We had a guy who wanted to drive a Jeep. Boy, he'd do anything to get to drive a Jeep. He had a shell come down, hit right on the hood.
Good.
He ain't no Jeep, and he ain't no Ford either. It blowed him all pieces. It's terrible when you see it. I'll tell you the one that really got me. We started across an open field. We shouldn't have went because the platoon sergeant told the company commander that there's a German machine gun out there somewhere we know, but we can't find it. So he wanted to go around and come through the woods and try to pick it up. And that company commander said, no, you're going that way. So we started across an open field. And there was 15 men ahead, spread out ahead of us, a squad. And then we was right behind them. We got about halfway across that field, and that German machine gun started firing at us. All 15 of them went down. A German machine gun fired 1,600 rounds a minute. I didn't believe that until I got out in front of it. And now I believe it. But they told me the gun that I fired 650 rounds a minute. I didn't believe that until I started firing it, and you could tell. But those 15 went down and we fell back, and when we started back, I thought for sure I saw the German machine gun firing. I could see the trees moving and the grass and everything. And we got the gun set up. It only takes us about 15, 20 seconds to get it done. I fired right through there, and about 3 times I cut through that before they was hiding. And the gun didn't fire no more, so I figured I blew it out. And one of them, while we fell back, to show you how animal-like the Germans are, an SS trooper went out there and shot every one of them dead and wounded guys in the head. And while we was firing, this guy's name well, they called him Tex. He was from Texas, the rifleman. I was firing over here, and he came around and sat down right beside where I was firing. And I looked there, and he had a hole in the side of his head. You could just stick your thumb in and never touch the side at all. And he was all blood, you know, and he fell over. Medics come over and stretched him out, and they went like that to us. So we knew he did. But I wanted to find that guy. If I found that SS trooper, I was going to blow him to pieces. And I don't like to say that. I don't like to hurt anybody. But what he did, he makes you do things you don't want to do. And as soon as there were no more Germans coming out, we grabbed the machine gun and tried to go out and catch them in the open. And we didn't go 150, 200 feet. And I heard somebody holler, help, help. And I looked, and leaning back against a little spruce evergreen was my SS trooper. But his leg was shot clear off at his knee and laying out there beside him. And they told us, if you ever see that, it'll shock you. As soon as I saw him laying there with that leg out, laying out there, I stopped for a little bit. But I wanted to make sure he didn't have no gun or anything. If he had a gun, I'd have killed him right there. And I went down, and he just begged us to help him. I said, you think, crawl over there in the weeds and die. Ain't nobody gonna help you. And we left him crying and begging us. Well, you can understand if your leg was shot, and it's been off for about a half hour or more. The pain and all was good. We walked off and left him crying. I didn't get to shoot him. I didn't want to shoot him anyhow. I might have done it though if we'd have, because I seen what he did. They hung women, Russian women, by the neck, hung them in trees, set their houses on fire, and if they come running out of the house on fire, then they'd shoot them down. Women, kids, dogs. And I'll tell you something else, the Germans, we found out from Germans that don't have any body that's not perfect, body-wise, always. You know why? When Hitler got in, they picked up all the lame people, you know, that brain trouble, that didn't have, they couldn't do a thing with their arm. If they couldn't take care of themselves, they took them to a hospital. And in this room in the hospital, they had, and I seen the picture of it, they had a tractor, garden tractor, motor on. And the exhaust of that went right over into the window of that hospital. And they killed every one of them that wasn't able to take care of themselves. And after the war was over, they admitted it. And the German people admitted it too. That's tough, you know that? Yeah. I might have went by where your dad was one time. Because we went through this town. We took the town and run the Germans out. And I went right by it, and they had these guys was in white pajamas like, and their stomach was all blowed up from hunger. And we didn't stop. We just kept going because we know the guys coming behind us will take care of them, you know, when they get there. But they were American. Well, they were white, I'll put it that way. But I don't know for sure.
Where were you at the time? Where was that at?
Huh?
Where was that at?
Well, it was up in Germany, going toward Berlin.
Well, we got 6 minutes left, and I want to get your German Luger and that little gun and stuff on, okay?
I can't get up with my hands full.
Oh.
I can't do it.
Is that camera off?
This is what the French women carried back in the 1800s, 1850s. It fires a blank. The blank, I had 2 of them, and I don't know what happened to them, the blanks, but they fired it, and fire jumped out about that fire. The women carried them, that's all the protection they had. I don't know how they ever got them fire. You want to see this?
Yep, German Luger.
German Luger. And I captured that, took it off of a German soldier. And when he came out, I turned the machine gun right on his belly button. He had his hands behind his head. And I never noticed. Oh, he'd probably come out as far as near across the street. But I never noticed he got within 10 feet of me. And he had GI boots on.
Oh.
They're American boots. I saved his life. They hollered, kill him, he's got GI boots on. And I hollered back, don't kill him, I want that Luger. And when he came up, I took that off of him. I took him prisoner. And this, what it is, it's a dress.
Put it up a little bit. Yeah.
It's a dress diaper. German officers wear them. But I kept it down here in my boot at night. And because
Hold it up a little higher. There.
if you stick that in him,
Mm-hmm.
he ain't gonna go very far.
Yeah. We ought to get you to put on your jacket that you wore,
I got the jacket.
but you can't wear it, can you?
I can put it on, but I can't button it. But that ain't funny.
And you got your, what's that?
Oh, that's that overseas cap.
Yeah,
You want to put that?
yeah.
I'll take this off.
All right, we're going to get it.
It's in there, Judy. Judy.
I think you got it wrong.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay, and you said that the rifle you brought home from there, you gave to Bill?
I gave that to Bill, and I told Bill if he lives longer than I do, he can have that pistol. That pistol's worth about $4,000.
The Luger,
Luger.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think that rifle would ever get home, but I wrapped it in a burlap bag and tied it up pretty good and put my address in Ohio. And it came true. Is that enough?
Where's the jacket at?
Well, we got 2 minutes left. You got any more stories or?
Where's the jacket at?
Oh, the jacket's in the closet in there, I think.
If you want to see the jacket,
There's your hat and jacket.
doesn't seem like I can't button this. No way.
Plug it in, Grandpa.
Well, I think I weighed about 140 pounds. And now I weigh 170.
Yeah, okay.
Is that all?
It's just about ready to stop.
Oh,
Say, I'm glad to be home. Hallelujah.
Here's the group that, Judy, come
somebody
out
took
there.
all my,
Here's the group that,
if you look at that
Listen-
picture up there, see
listen
all
to
that
the
stuff on
story.
me?
Carol, look at that picture, Barry.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mom and Dad.
Hey, you don't know what happened to him?
Huh?
You don't know what happened to them? Things that was on it?
Turn Mom's picture a little
Your
so I
patches?
can.
You don't know?
I can't
Your
understand.
patches.
Oh, somebody took them. And they took off. They took all that
Over
stuff
over
too.
in front of her, dude.
The one that,
You know what? I think we're done. Wait, just back up a little. I think we may be done now.
see there's
Alrighty.
a French 40 gal on there, that thing goes over the shoulder.
Yeah.